This is Carson Edwards from the Boston. This is Carson Edwards from the Boston Celtics. This is Carson Edwards from the Boston Celtics, and you're listening to the Boiler Breakdown. This is Carson Edwards from the Boston Celtics, and you're listening to the Boiler Breakdown podcast, hosted by Tanner Lee, Evan Webb, and Andrew Eiler.
What is up, Boilermaker Nation? Tanner Lee, along with Andrew Eiler and the returning Evan Webb. We missed you last week, Webby.
Good to be back.
Back for another edition of the Boiler Breakdown podcast, streaming live on our Facebook page, on our YouTube channel, and on our YouTube, in our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. There we go. I'm going to screw that up if I try to get too fancy with it. But, oh, boys, it feels good to have Purdue football, Purdue sports in general, back in our lives, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Made Saturday a lot more interesting.
It sure did. It was kind of like when the NFL season started. I'm like, I wonder how I'm going to feel when the game kicks off, when there's no fans there. I didn't care. While the game was going on, Purdue football was back, and I was full into it. So it was fun, and we are going to get into that. And looks like we got a few viewers already. Skip says howdy. Hey there, Skip. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoy the show. Hope you stick with us. And as we recap the Boilers' 24-20 victory over Iowa, we're going to try to hit on the latest news regarding Rondale Moore, which there isn't too much news, but we can speculate. We'll preview the upcoming game for the Purdue Cannon at Illinois, and maybe even hit on some basketball recruiting news. So let's get right into the game. First time we've had a game to recap since the basketball loss to Rutgers back in late or mid-March.
Yeah,
feels like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Man,
Finally.
man. But
So what was the last win? Was it Iowa basketball
at
game?
Iowa, yes, sir. We are dominating Iowa for year
Own
2020.
the state of Iowa.
We own them right now. Jeff Brom owns Kurt Ferentz.
The
Even though Jeff Brom,
The whole Brahms.
yes, the Brom clan,
Yeah.
as Jeff Brom was not the head coach for the Boilermakers. This past week, Andrew and I covered that last week on the preview, the game day preview edition, that he had COVID-19. It does sound like today from his weekly press conference that he'll be back Wednesday, which is good, as will the special teams coordinator, which it was kind of speculated there was some other member of the staff that had COVID last week, but no names were dropped. We found that out on Saturday morning for the game, as did we that King Doru wasn't going to be playing. And
That was non-COVID related, though.
no, that was hamstring. That was hamstring related in practice. And what was that?
It's the new ACL.
It really is. It's getting kind of annoying already. And also, one thing we didn't get to cover last week was, because it broke Friday afternoon, was that Rondale Moore broke Friday that he wasn't going to be suiting up for the Boilermakers in his long-anticipated return after opting back in for the season. And we'll cover that here in a little bit. But so going into Saturday, the Boilermakers had no head coach, their star wide receiver, and
Starting running back.
Potentially. I don't know. Was King Doru the starter? Ahead of Horvath?
What did
I don't remember.
The depth chart had him third, but I got he
would have gotten
like everybody was saying he was going to start. So I don't know. I don't know. But so there was a lot of different different concerns going into that game. A lot of adversity the Boilermakers had to get over. But man, it was the juices were flowing. First play of the year, Sanusi Kane unloaded on the guy on kickoff.
True freshman, right?
Yeah. First player's career.
Yep, from New Jersey. And the Boilermakers forced a 3-and-out on Iowa. Got the ball in return, went 3-and-out. Starting quarterback for the Boilermakers, redshirt junior walk-on, Aiden O'Connell. So Andrew, you owe me a beer.
I do. I was very surprised. I would have picked him third of the three options.
Third, really?
I think maybe not. I don't know. It would have been him and Burton close. I mean, it sounded like I don't know. I probably would have put him second. I definitely was like all in on Plummer being the starter.
I thought Plummer was going to start for sure.
I thought Boiling Over kind of tipped their hat a little bit with Aiden O'Connell. But I still thought Plummer, even though I did vote for Aiden O'Connell on our Twitter poll, but a majority of our listeners and viewers were wrong. I'm going to go look at those results right now. Boy, I've tweeted a lot since the end of the game on our account. I am not finding the poll. Oh, here it is. We had 83 votes. The tally was 67% Jack Plummer, 24% Aiden O'Connell, and 9% Austin Burton. So majority of the voters were wrong. But so AOC got the nod. And, I started thinking yesterday, we kind of saw this after Elijah Sindelar had the hot hand in 2017, got Purdue going, got into the Foster Farms Bowl, got the win. And then a lot of people thought David Blau would be the starter in 2018, but he went with Sindelar. Do you think it's kind of a situation like that, just still riding the hot hand?
I was listening to, I think it was Boiled Sports, our friends at Boiled Sports. We'll call them our friends.
Hi, guys.
Yeah. I listened to all their pregame podcasts I didn't get a chance to on Friday, but I think it was one of them was talking about how O'Connell might have been the safer choice given the situation with Braum not there. So maybe that was the reason for him. I have no idea. I mean, I was okay with either him or Plummer, but I didn't think about that. It did make sense that, especially you kind of saw with his decision making was he wasn't really taking too many risks in terms of trying to fit it in tight spots. We had the one
pick.
Yeah, the one pick. He had the one deep shot try with Bell where Bell couldn't get under it in time. But you saw he was like, if it was in the end zone, he was thrown out of the end zone if he couldn't get his guy. So he wasn't trying to fit in there like maybe something Plummer might try and do. So I don't know if that had something to do with it. If just the fact that Braum wasn't there calling the plays, if that factored into it, I have no idea. But
yeah, I was a little surprised that we didn't see another quarterback even just for a series.
Yeah,
just because of how much they talked about the competition between the three and how close it was. And I think even Braum today said how, he won it out, but it was really close.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was surprised. O'Connell did great. He had times, that second quarter, they kind of went through lulls where they were struggling. The defense was struggling too, but they adjusted the second half. But kind of watching O'Connell, I think he just has the best arm. I don't know.
I think he has the best arm. I've never seen Austin Burton throw, but
true. But it just
You think he's a stronger arm than Plummer?
I do.
I think he's more accurate, and I think he's a better arm now.
He can't. He's not mobile. He's the least mobile of the three, and we saw a few plays. I think it would have been nice if a more mobile quarterback was in that could have scrambled probably out of two of those sacks and maybe got some yardage, if not a first down. But going back to not seeing two quarterbacks, I was surprised by that too. There was a couple times, especially in the third quarter, when Aiden started kind of he struggled a little bit in the third quarter. Yep. I thought maybe they might try to do a change of pace.
I was ready. I was
ready too. I didn't say in our group chat, but I was ready, and I'm glad he didn't.
Maybe they do if Jeff Braum was coach.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's I would almost put money on that. I think we would have seen a quarterback change if Braum. If Jeff Braum was on the sideline, just because it's just kind of the way he is.
And I think Jeff even mentioned that or made a comment that made it even sound more like that, where he was like, oh, yeah, Brian did a great job sticking with O'Connell. Mm-hmm. He specifically said that and made him think like he was yelling at his TV, like put somebody else in or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. I still really wish they could have put a live cam or just a cam in Jeff Braum's house to get his reaction.
Money to watch that.
Do you think he broke anything?
Well, I don't know if he was asked that, but he said he sent the whole family to the game, and he felt bad because he scared the dog multiple times by yelling. Yeah. So, but
I've seen how mad like Tanner you get at video games sometime. I can only imagine how intense Jeff Braum is when he is missing a game for the first time in his life, watching on TV helpless.
Pretty much.
Yeah. I could only imagine how mad.
He got to be one of us for a week.
Yeah, true. Very true.
Except he actually knew what the plays were supposed to be and actually had reason to gripe where we are we think we know, but we don't. But
our Madden knowledge is pretty shallow.
Hey man, I run a slick Madden offense. Maybe not so much, but I was glad Aiden started and finished the game. It would be nice to get some consistency at quarterback. And I thought he played pretty well for the most part. He was 31 for 50 for 282 yards, 3 touchdowns, all to David Bell, 2 interceptions. One was off Payne Durham, even though he threw it a little behind him. It was a bad throw. He even admitted to that after the game.
It was a bullet.
But something about this kid in the fourth quarter, he's got something, it seems like, and he just makes the throws and makes the plays when they're needed in the fourth quarter. His third come from behind victory as a quarterback at Purdue in the fourth quarter. That's pretty impressive in 5 games.
And 5 starts, yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of them was a come from behind against Nebraska that he came off the bench
after Plummer got hurt.
Yeah. But
then
the start at Northwestern.
Okay, so yeah.
And he put up good stats against Indiana last year and played okay even at Wisconsin.
He led us back against Indiana to at least take it to overtime, and we didn't get the job done, but
double OT. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought he played well for the most part. I mean, there was times I got frustrated, and I might even said, okay, maybe we should put another quarterback in. But I think
Plummer was warming up at one point. At least that's what Twitter was saying.
Okay.
I don't know if that was true, but I swear I saw a couple people say that Plummer started warming up on the sideline. Now I don't know. I mean, no one was at the game, so I don't know how that was being
family.
Yeah, I mean, right, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Media members up in the press box.
Yeah,
but no, I've been an Aiden fan. I think it's a cool story.
Absolutely.
I mean, a walk-on who had no offers really besides walk-on offers.
Yeah.
And not only was he a walk-on, we had a walk-on starting quarterback, we had a walk-on center and running back.
Yeah, forgot about that. I knew the center. I totally forgot Horvath was a walk-on too. Yeah.
Yep, because he was originally supposed to go to Indiana to play linebacker, and then something happened, and he came to Purdue and walked on and played some running back, and he had a good day for himself. 21 carries for 129 yards.
Picked up where he left off. Yep.
Exactly. Great minds think alike. I was nervous at halftime, though. I think if Jeff Braun was coaching, we abandoned the run completely after only running for 24 yards on the ground first half, but we stuck with it. Horvath is very talented when running north to south. When he gets east and west, that's when he struggles a little bit.
Yeah, doesn't have the quickness, but
he's got power. He's got some agility. That hurdle was a thing of beauty. So I thought he played well. And then, of course, David Bell. What more can you say about this kid? That is 7 games over 100 yards in 13 career games.
And he was hurt. And he was hurt the first few games of those.
Yep.
Yeah.
Played through last year with a separated shoulder for the most part.
Yep.
13 catches, 121 yards, 3 touchdowns. Was the co-offensive player of the week for the Big Ten with redshirt freshman quarterback, Wisconsin quarterback Graham Mertz,
who also got freshman of the week too.
Yep. David, I'm not comparing him to this guy, but his playing style reminds me of Jerry Rice.
Yeah, that comparison gets thrown around a lot. Again, we're not saying it's going to be, but yeah, he is so smooth. And I'm so impressed by the fact that, especially with Rondale being out, he's obviously our number 1 receiver. He's getting most likely getting the best defender, getting the most coverage.
They know where he is.
Yeah, he still is open.
That
touchdown, that last.
How did he get so open?
He was. I mean,
he was in between 2 defenders.
Yeah,
and they were just like, "Oh no!"
I don't know if it was just his zone coverage that just got blown or what, but yeah, he was wide open for that last touchdown pass. I mean, it just blows my mind how he's able to. I don't know if he just. I mean, I'm not watching him usually because the camera angle's bad, but he just is so shifty, and I think he just has the savvy to figure out ways to get open that another receiver of a similar skill set, but maybe doesn't have the mindset or the savviness of it. He just can get open. It's just so impressive.
I'm sure part of that has to be so. I mean, I give some credit to Brahms too. I mean, the play calling and the design, like the deep ball. I mean, like you just said, like he was open all day.
I still think of that deep ball. I think it was bad between the sun and the shade. I think he lost it for a split second.
I think he could.
It was a tough catch, but we're so used to him catching everything around him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like you said, Evan, he has a knack for getting open. His route running is so crisp and clean.
Mm-hmm.
It's just smooth. He's not the fastest. He's not slow by any means, but he's not the fastest. He's just smooth. I haven't really seen a wide receiver like this at Purdue.
Wasn't that what the Ohio State people said when he committed to Purdue? Like, oh yeah, we didn't want him. He's not all that athletic anyway. Yeah. Oh well.
He likes playing against Iowa. And he's torture for Iowa, and Iowa was in his Final Four, and I'm sure they hate it. I mean, Kirk Ferentz said he's one of the best wide receivers they've played against in his 23 years or whatever, 21 years at Iowa.
I think you said 21, yeah.
That's pretty impressive compliment. And that's why I just really want to see number 4 out there too. I just want to see him at the same time. I just want to see what happens.
Oh, well, and then the other wide receiver that kind of showed up bigger than I expected, Milton Wright. I did not.
Yeah.
I mean, he looked like the first couple drives. He looked great. Like he made that one over his head catch.
That was
jumping.
a bad throw, and
I was like, that's a
pretty.
pick.
Yeah, that is.
I was like, that's an overthrow. That's a pick.
If that's someone like Ahmad Anderson or maybe even Sparks, that's probably going over his head. But just the tall frame, the athletic ability, he went up and made that catch look a lot easier than it probably was.
Yeah, his hands look great. I think he proved to Purdue he's their number 3 option, and I think he's a guy. If you get Rondale out there with David, he can flourish even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the way it's going to take me a while to get used to number 0 being worn in college football in general. But
what was confusing me was
Marcellus Moore's 8.
Sheffield's 8.
Sheffield's 8. Just the way
the crease
looked like a 0, and I was
like,
why is right fielding punts? Even
I saw that too.
Even the announcer got confused. He was like, oh no, that's number 8. That's Sheffield out there. But yeah, it's weird to see number 0.
It was nice to see Sheffield get in the mix a little bit. I thought he'd be in the mix more, to be honest. But I mean, you look down the stat lines. I mean, Milton Wright 7 catches for 85 yards. Payne Durham 4 for 41. Malik Carr, true freshman, getting his first action, 1 for 15 yards.
And he almost had that touchdown. I mean, he was in the air, but I mean, there's someone posted. It looked like his foot was down, but I was like, I don't think anyway. But it was a hell of a catch. I mean,
he's a big boy.
Yeah.
He's a big dude.
Does he not wear gloves?
Nope.
Yeah, wow.
That's cool too, because you don't see that very often anymore.
No.
Ahmad Anderson, 2 catches, 9 yards. Jared Sparks, 2 catches, 6 yards. But one thing I want to say about these guys are busting their butt out there 100%. They are blocking really well on plays. Sparks had a good block on Bell's second touchdown. And then Anderson had a couple good blocks. And Sparks also had a really key catch in this game.
Yeah, I was about to say the catch towards the end of the game.
3rd and 7,
huge.
he catches a badly thrown ball behind him, catches it to make it 4th and 1. If he drops that, it's 4th and 7. Purdue probably doesn't win that game, looking back on it. So, and then Alexander Horvath had 2 catches for 5 yards, kind of the swing passes we got used to seeing him involved in last year. But, I mean, the offense wasn't fantastic, but I'd still give them a B+ grade. I was just happy the run game got going.
They definitely, that first half, and the first quarter, definitely they missed some opportunities to blow it open. I mean, they were up 7-0, right? When then the Bell long bomb should have made it 14, and then there was the pick down the kind of in the red zone. I think it was on the goal line. But I mean, so they had some opportunities, but overall pleased.
The weapons, even without Rondale out there. I mean, Payne Durham's gonna be a force too, and he's only a sophomore. We saw Garrett Miller out there on the final drive of the game, redshirt freshman. How about the offensive line? We haven't talked about the offensive line yet.
And they played.
That was probably one of my biggest worries was we've got all these weapons, but is whoever's running the show behind center, are they even gonna have time to set anything up?
Do you think?
I thought the line held great. I mean Iowa, they don't have what's his face from last year.
AJ Epineza.
Yeah, they don't have him there, but still, I mean
they're big and they're
the coordinator is one of the best in the Big Ten, if not the nation. He's been there for years. So.
I thought they held it. I think we really saw a lot of. I think the coaches were swapping out a lot of players and they kept them fresh.
10, 12 deep.
You saw Gus Hartwig make his debut as a true freshman at center, which was awesome.
I think he finished the game.
Yeah, I think he did too.
As your true freshman center in his first game, I mean,
against Iowa, it's not like he's not playing Indiana State or a MAC school. You're playing a team that won 10. Would they win 10 games last year? I think.
I don't know if they won that many, but they did beat USC in the bowl game. I know that.
Yeah.
Kim Craig lost to injury. He's out this week. That's kind of a blow. He was playing well.
Did they confirm he's out?
Confirmed that today. He didn't know about Doru. He says kind of a day-to-day situation, and he said Coyle's got to be probably a little longer, so I'm not sure what's up with that. But for the most part, Purdue got out of this game pretty healthy.
I was right. Iowa won 10 games last year with
the win. There you go, Webby. I should not doubt you.
Nope.
How about the defense side of the ball? How do you think the Boilers played in the first game of the Bob Diaco era as defensive coordinator?
I kind of got into – I was talking to my dad on the phone, I think third quarter into the fourth quarter, and we had very different opinions on how the defense was doing. I was very frustrated with the defense, and he was definitely more on the positive side. Really, for the whole game, I was definitely in a negative space for a lot of the games because I felt like we could have done so much better for a long time. But then after the game, I was like, we gave up 3 points in the second half to a Big Ten team, the team that won 10 games the previous year, and
only 20 points.
Yeah, and I mean, Iowa's not a juggernaut offensively by any means, but still, that's impressive. I mean, we gave up a crap ton of yardage, which I was getting really frustrated with the fact that we were bending, not breaking, but a lot of times we were stopping them on the 50, and then they were punting. We were starting from our 10 or inside the 10, and we had to go 80 to 90 yards single time. We weren't really getting stops early on in the drive, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, they stopped them when they needed to.
Well, it's kind of the Diaco defense last year for Louisiana Tech was a lot of bend, don't break. And I think we kind of saw that this week, and I think we're going to have to get used to that, which is okay. Yeah. If they don't break, that's fine.
I don't know. It was hard to watch. I
was getting real frustrated with the tight ends. They were catching over the middle with 15 yards. Yeah.
Yeah. But they did. That's true. They only scored 14 points. They scored 17 in the second quarter. But they made it look pretty easy at times where it's like it'd be like, oh man, what is this? Like he went 7 yards before he got touched. Like I was to run up the middle.
I thought a few good takeaways though. I thought the defensive backs in particular were a lot more aggressive than they ever were last year.
Yeah.
I mean, they're getting good at the peanut punch from behind. I mean, that's something we rarely saw last year, and we saw it 2, if not 3 times the other day in big spots. Yeah, I thought the guys were aggressive, and they hit on some big plays, like some 40-yarders, but they never had the 80-yard touchdown or the absolutely humongous play that we're kind of used to at Purdue defense giving up once a game.
And I think even like their longest plays most of the time were like swing passes almost like out of the running back where he drifted out. So everything was in front of you.
Yeah.
Like that. You said that 80-yard bomb. I mean, everything was right there. So they went 30, 40 yards, but okay, they still have to go into the 30 yards.
Jalen Alexander led the team in tackles with 7, but I thought DeMarcus Mitchell played like a baller, lived up
awesome.
He's all over the field.
Yeah.
All over the field, and which leads me to a question we had earlier in the show. I'm sorry, I'm just now getting to it, Skip. But Skip wanted to know, would Mitchell and Big George be more dangerous if they lined up as linebackers and push all the 280 to 300-pound guys on the defensive line?
That's a good question.
I mean, Mitchell lines up everywhere. It matters if 4-3 or 3-4. So, but George, I think he's good where he's at the end.
I mean, I think George is going to end up being a linebacker in the NFL.
Like
Kerrigan. I think just because the way that's just how the game is designed. But I think for Diaco's defense, I think we'll see him on the line.
Stay on the end.
Yeah, stay on the end. And he's just so quick off the ball. I mean, you saw him. There was the battle of Lafayette there between him and Coy Cronk there. And
that's where he got his sack, his 1 sack on Cronk.
He got the best of him on that play. But I think, I mean, I don't know if I'd like to maybe see it, just see what it's like. But I think you would lose a lot of speed off the edge unless you shoved him, but then you'd probably have, 4 to 5 guys on the line. Then that kind of, you don't have as many guys back. But
it would be kind of cool to see Derek Barnes, Mitchell, and Karloff as your 3 linebackers that all could be basically be defensive ends that are good, quick, athletic, and
Iowa had a tough time when Barnes and Karloff were lined up on the same side of the field. They had a very difficult time containing both those guys. And
I feel like go for it, Tan.
George might have got 1 sack, but he was in disrupting, and he was getting held all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
He had that hurry, like first possession of the game for Iowa. He didn't get a sack, but he definitely put pressure on Petrus, whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah, Petrus, something like that.
I feel like I didn't even notice Barnes out there.
Yeah,
just like Lorenzo Neal didn't do a whole lot.
Second half, I noticed Neal in the second half. He played. He had the big hold.
Takes up a lot of space
on that last drive.
He's a big dude.
He's gained a little poundage.
I think on their last drive, Neal like beat the center like immediately to force Peaches to basically chuck it away and got held.
Mm-hmm.
That made it like 4th and 14 or something. That made it a big. Yeah. It was a big one. Where he was in his face on his like 3rd step back basically already.
One thing I really like about this team is the depth on both sides of the ball. Yeah. They're just rotating a bunch of guys in and out, and that's something we haven't had in a while.
it's nice to be in year 4 of the Brom eras. He's built that depth finally, which I mean, hopefully we can only go up from here in terms of getting more offensive line depth, more defensive line. Where years past we had, the starters were great, but then you get to the fourth quarter and they've been on the field all day. They just get too gassed. And I think that's part of the reason why we were able to do what we did in the fourth quarter and stop them is because we had a lot of guys who had been subbing in and out, and you had a lot of guys who stepped up and, when it mattered, they were fresh. They weren't, sucking air.
And not only is it's depth, they're young. I mean, it's redshirt sophomores, and then it's also like we said, it's a free year, so these guys all have
still blows my mind.
2-3 more years.
Same for basketball too. So
all sports, the scholarship numbers are just gonna be insane. I don't know how they're gonna do this.
So does Mitchell? Could we have Mitchell for 3 years?
Mm-hmm. He could be back for 2 full years if he wants to.
Steele could come back next year. He could be a 6-year.
Yeah, we can have. Now, I always wondered, what if, and we don't have any of these, as to my knowledge, but if we have a guy that's in his 6th year, could he come back for a 7th?
Oh, like a medical.
Like if Elijah would have came back this year, he would have been 6th year, and then this happened. Could he have came back for the 7th year?
Why not?
He would have broke every Purdue passing record there is if he stayed healthy. Maybe not, but
there'd be some asterisks in the record book there.
Who cares?
Yeah. Hey, this is a wild season. We're just it is what it is. Gotta take it week by week and enjoy it. But one thing I liked was, Purdue scores to get up 4 with 2:15, 2:17 left. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking, did we leave them too much time? Because too many times in the past we've seen us go ahead late and then the opposition go down and score. But we got the big defensive stop. I haven't been used to seeing that in a long time. So in special teams, I thought played good. I thought Brooks Cormier punted pretty well. Dillinger hit all his extra points and his 1 field goal attempt. Mm-hmm. Had no problems with his kickoffs. Thought special teams looked good. So
I mean, overall, I felt like it was just overall pretty solid. I mean, Purdue had like 1 penalty, or that I can remember.
They had 3.
3.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Iowa had like 10.
Yeah,
and one of them was Bell offensive pass interference. So really,
that's right.
I think defense had 2, maybe. I'm not sure if we had any. I don't know if we had any holding penalties or not, which was pretty cool to see. I mean, I know that was a big complaint of the Nick Holt defense. Was a lot of times in the past we had a lot of undisciplined penalties that were just not called for.
Yes. Couple crazy stats here. This is Purdue's first 1-0 start of the Brom era, and their first 1-0 start since 2016. Darrell Hazel's last year, they beat Eastern Kentucky to start that year. It's Purdue's first 1-0 conference start since 2011, when Purdue beat Minnesota. They're seeking their first 2-0 start in general since 2007.
I saw that stat.
And seeking their first conference 2-0 start since 2010. So,
does that win go to Jeff, or is that I saw that on. I don't know if it was with the Gold and Black. It was like, does that win go to Jeff, or does it go to Brian? Because I saw something where it's obviously if a coach gets fired, it goes to the interim. But what if I guess we would have found out if just last week with Alabama and Georgia, if Saban couldn't coach, and they would have lost that without have been first loss versus
I need to go check Florida State. I think they coached a game without Mike Norvell, and they lost earlier this year. So I should go check if Norvell got the loss or if his assistant. But kudos to the coaching staff and the team for fighting through all this adversity this week, and
absolutely
that's impressive. This is honestly, now it might sound crazy. This might be a top 5 favorite Purdue win of all time for me.
Really?
Mm-hmm. To football.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't know. I just had fun watching the game the other day, and a lot of adversity they went through. So.
Yeah. I honestly, after I found out Friday that no Rondale, no Brom, and then no King Doru on Saturday, and I was like, oh boy, this could be bad.
I know it. And that's why maybe I went in with my expectations low, and they surprised me. And I mean, of course, I'm going to have the Tyler Trent game up there, the Drew Brees, the Seth Morales, the 41-16 shellacking at Notre Dame. But then I got to really think, what are my other ones in there? And I'm going to fit this one in my top 5 at number 5 somewhere.
That Minnesota game, Brom's first year was pretty fun. Just because of the weather delay and how it ended.
Yeah, that was a good one. We've got the best of Ferentz, 3-1 against them in the last 4 years, and that one loss was a 6-point loss up there last year when we were playing like 12 freshmen. So yeah, Yeah, now we got to get ready for the Illinois Fighting Illini, who got killed at Madison Friday night. They looked awful, but Purdue can't have a letdown. This is a team that came in Ross 8 and smacked Purdue up and down the field. Jeff Brom hit on that like 3 or 4 times today in the press conference. So you got to be sure he's going to have his guys ready to go, and watching that tape over and over again from last year, because he sounds like a guy that wants to get some revenge and get that cannon back to West Lafayette.
Yeah, I don't know much about this Illinois team. I mean, this is what, year 4 or 5? Is it 5 for Lovey?
Brandon Peters is back at quarterback. He looked okay the other night. He's the Michigan transfer last year that started for them. They do have some talented wide receivers that are back. They lost their top 2 running backs. They lost a lot on their defensive line. So they lost a lot of guys. But their offensive line is supposed to be their strength, but didn't show up the other night. And they got killed at Wisconsin. But, of course, Mertz went 20 for 21 and 5 touchdowns. But then he got tested positive for COVID over the weekend. Still waiting to see his results from a second test. But I don't think we'll find that out till this weekend. I don't think the school will release anything. I don't think the coach will say anything. I don't think they can unless they give his permission. So the only way I think we find out if he's positive before the weekend is he comes out and says it. If not, we'll find out Saturday if he's not on the field. And then that means he's out for Nebraska, out for Purdue, and out for Michigan. Yeah. Big blow for the Badgers. But the scary thing is it can happen to any Big Ten team any week, any day.
And that's what it was actually Pat McAfee made this. I think it was on College Game Day a couple weeks or last week or something. But he said the Big Ten, because of the way they made the schedule, there's no wiggle room whatsoever. So I mean, it's got to be an all-in effort of the coaches, the players, the managers, any sort of grad assistant, any student manager, or any sort of like student assistant manager, like Tanner, your volunteer position that you did when you were in school. Like, it's got to be an all-in effort, because if one person gets it, they can decimate a team.
You got to buckle down for 8 or 9 weeks.
Yeah. Well, and that's what makes like Purdue, I think, I think they said 5 or 6 personnel coaches, so it could have been trainers or something like that outside of Brom and Biaggi, but as far as we know, no players.
Well, and they did say on the telecast, 11 players tested positive for COVID earlier this year before they were even doing the everyday tracing. Mike Bobinski said last week, since they started everyday tracing on September 30th, Purdue had no positive tests, which is good.
But but it speaks to that, Webby, that you got to buckle down, and that the head coach gets it, and one other coach gets it, and knock on wood, so far nobody else.
Yeah.
Which I mean, like, you get scared because I mean, they're college kids. We have to remember they're 18 to 20, and a big win. Things happen. It could be that one walk-on player goes to a party or whatever it is, and it's just that's what's
that one walk-on player. So the third string kicker is going to ruin it for everybody.
Long snapper.
Yep. I mean, you got to think the coaches are just pounding this.
Some walk-on gets the entire wide receiver room knocked out, and we're playing with.
Well, I mean, stop. I think all I have to do is show them Florida. Like, look, like, we can't miss multiple games. Like,
and I think the whole Big Ten Conference is trying to get to Thanksgiving, because after that it should get easier from then on out for the season. The students would go home, the other students. So.
It's a long ways away.
I know. Let's just keep taking it week by week and hope this doesn't hit too hard. But one other note I want to make before we talk about the Rondale Moore, because I don't have too much more to talk about Illinois, really. They just weren't good the other night, and we'll preview Big Ten games from the bits. But I think this has to be Purdue's best opening win since 1992, when they knocked off number 17 California.
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
Because usually you don't start off with a hot opponent. Yeah, that was the year we were born, knucklehead. But I read about that game the other day.
What was the date of that game?
I don't know. It was in 92. It might have been before you were born, Evan.
I say, yeah. What was the?
All I know is Cal was number 17.
September 14th. So you're welcome. They got the win because I was 3 days old.
I think the Cal players came off the bus wearing like cowboy hats and farm dressed up. They were mostly making fun of it, and then Purdue handed it to them. So this got to be the best opening win since then.
Who's our quarterback?
I'm guessing Eric Hunter, but that's just a guess.
Eric Hunter. Wow, we won.
Pretty good guard. Yeah, he's pretty. Guard and a quarterback.
That's just a guess. I know he was a quarterback in like the early 90s. I don't know.
Oh, wait, this was September 12th. This is literally the day after I was born. Look at that.
Eric Hunter, you're right, Tam.
All downhill for Purdue football from there.
Yeah, Purdue went 4-7 that year.
Yeah. But
let's see.
so I mean, usually we start off with somebody. Well, not under Jeff Brown, we start off with tough opponents. But so, all right, let's hit the other elephant in the room. Rondale Moore, like we said, didn't play today in the press conference. Jeff Brown was asked for him. He pretty much said the team's ready for him whenever he's ready.
Don't like that.
He wouldn't say anything. He said he even said, "I apologize. That's all I can say." What is going on?
This is eerily similar to Lorenzo Neal last year.
That's exactly what I was thinking. He'll come when he's ready. It's like, what the hell does that mean?
It's like maybe this week, maybe not.
It's getting frustrating.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he did maybe just tweak it a little bit, and it's fine, but it's still
not 100%.
Yeah, or he's just nervous, and that's the reason. I mean, I think that's the
same. Or maybe
ACL, where he was fine, he was cleared to play, but he didn't feel confident in it. I don't know.
Maybe it's like that where he's not 100. Maybe he's pretty close. If it was IU, he plays. If it's against IU, or it's the last game of the year he plays, but it's like, okay, we've got 8 more games, 7 more games, whatever. It's like, okay, it's not push it in a cold weather first game back.
Not getting warmer.
No. I mean, a few interesting things I saw was, of course, ESPN senior writer Adam Rittenberg, who covers the Big Ten, shortly after that was announced Friday that he wasn't going to be playing, he said he's expected to play next week against Illinois. The announcers even kind of repeated that and confirmed that Saturday. But then Brom makes a statement today. But up until that game on Saturday, a lot of the promotional stuff was still featuring Rondale. Like, you got to think Foreman and his staff at Purdue, they had things scheduled out. And one of the promotional things that came out Saturday morning was a GIF or a picture of Rondale. Got to think they wouldn't have posted that if they didn't think and too far ahead of time that he wasn't going to play.
He wouldn't have opted back in if he wasn't going to play. And he was on the sideline, so it wasn't like he...
Yeah, which he was never last year.
Yeah,
right.
He was hurt. He was never out there. At least I can remember.
Yeah,
he was out. They showed him 3 or 4 times.
Pretty active, like on the field. Like he was pretty in the game. It wasn't like he was moping and just kind of be there to there or something. No, he was definitely... I feel wanted to be out there.
If he's healthy, he's got to play at this point because he opted back in. When you got Bateman out there making plays for Minnesota,
he's a baller.
I think if you opt back in now, don't play and opt out again or something, that's probably not the best look in scouts' eyes. But
then the other way, the Alabama wide receiver who got hurt on Saturday.
Yeah.
According to his coach, he should have never brought it out of the end zone. What a jerk. What a jerk to make that statement. That guy's trash. Even though he's a great coach, he's trash. But Tiller owned him. So yeah, I just wish we got answers. But that's one thing the Brom and company they've done since they got to Purdue. They kept everything pretty close to the vest.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, remember Elijah? We didn't even know he had an ACL tear.
Yeah,
until after the
Foster Farms Bowl. Yeah,
which was incredible. But so I understand with like gamesmanship and everything, you want to make your opponent prepare. But that's kind of why I was confused why the Rondale news came out Friday instead of Saturday morning. But maybe they figured with a player with the stature like Rondale Moore, it was going to get leaked anyways.
Yeah.
So they needed to come out and get ahead of it. I don't know.
Especially since I think on Thursday
there were rumors.
They didn't even. I think there was a question about Rondale, but they didn't. It was never said that.
He kind of beat around the bush without even answering the question. So,
what was your guys' favorite rumor about Rondale, that he slipped at a Texas Roadhouse?
Slipped on the peanut shells at Texas Roadhouse.
Oh, I didn't hear it was that.
What the hell was he doing at a Texas Roadhouse?
That's what my question was. That's what made me mad.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like their steaks and then their rolls. The rolls are to die for. But you're a All-American college football player during a pandemic. Don't go out to Texas
to go.
But I don't know. I really would like to know what happened. I don't know if we'll ever know. Andrew, we were kind of saying we were kind of saying last week that we'd like to know what happened between him and Neal last year, and we'll probably never know.
No, that would be like I want Brom to write a book in 20 years after he wins like 8 Rose Bowls or something, and yeah.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep. Hopefully he's suited up Saturday. Hopefully he's been practicing. I mean, the promotional pump-up video did even featured him in there with his helmet on the practice field. So he's been out there a little bit, but still don't know if he was in that scrimmage or not a few weeks ago. It's not clear. Some people said very limited. I don't know.
But they're also, handling with care.
Yeah. I don't know. I just want to see him out on the field sooner than later because he can make this already dynamic offense even more explosive and fun and give defense coordinators nightmares and headaches. So before we get into picking some Big Ten games, I got to let everybody know that the Boiler Breakdown is brought to you by Mad Mushroom. Mad Mushroom serving Boilermakers since 1993 and is located in the heart of West Lafayette and is well known as the home of the original cheese sticks. But whenever I visit, I like to sit down and have an ice-cold beer while trying out their latest pizza of the month. Next time you're in town, stop in and tell them the Boiler Breakdown sent you for $5 off any order over $20. Also, any Boiler Breakdown listener can order online and use the coupon code BREAK5, all caps BREAK5, to claim your discount online at madmushroom.com. Mad Mushroom, feed your head. And we are thrilled to have them on board of the Boiler Breakdown podcast. And Mad Mushroom's cheese sticks sound wonderful right now. Bobby says, hey guys, big win Saturday. Absolutely, Bobby. Thanks for tuning in. That's why we're all in a good mood right now on a Monday night. Always more fun to cover win than cover a loss. And we've covered more losses on the Boiler Breakdown, unfortunately, than we have wins, but turning that around in season 2 of the pod. So what was a good week 1 of Big Ten football? I was saying earlier tonight on another podcast I host that even though college football had been around for a month or so, it felt like college football just started this weekend, at least for me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I haven't honestly paid that much attention to college football until this week.
Well, I saw a line come across the ticker during I think it was during the Purdue game. That said like had Army was the first team to accept a bowl bid, and I was like, "How are they accepting the bowl? It's the first week of college football." I was like, "Oh wait, no, this is like week 4 or 5."
Yeah, any bowl can take anybody they want this year.
Yeah,
so.
I was watching game day on Saturday morning. They're like, "Oh, week 8." And I was like,
"No, it's week 1. It's week 1." But the Big Ten is college football to me. It's the oldest conference. It's the one we all care about the most. We follow the closest. We know the players, we know the teams, we know the coaches. So Friday night, we got the Minnesota Golden Gophers, who Captain Boat Boy, his boat sunk a little bit the other night. I can't even say thanks to khaki pants because he wasn't wearing khakis the other night.
I heard that. I never saw. I was watching the game a little bit. I never saw it. Like they never showed him when I
blue pants with black boots. He didn't have the whistle around him. It's like, oh my God, Harbaugh means business this year. He's not running around. They traveled to play Maryland, who looked god awful at Evanston the other night. Minnesota is a 20.5-point favorite on the road.
Holy crap! That Minnesota-Michigan game was fun to watch because I feel like there was just one big play of some sort after another. Like there was either a deep pass or a kick return that went for 50, 60 yards. I think Minnesota wins. I don't know if they win. I don't know if they win by 20. Yeah, I'll say they cover.
Ray says, great breakdown and show. Boiler up. Thank you, Ray. Appreciate you tuning in. Boiler up yourself. I like that pick, Evan. I agree with Minnesota there. They just got out-talented the other night. I thought Michigan's offense looked better than they ever have under Harbaugh. That was impressive the other night. Andrew, Minnesota, Maryland?
Yeah. Minnesota by a mile. I don't know.
Michigan State at Michigan. Talk about looking bad. Not a good start from Mel Tucker up in East Lansing. Only 7 turnovers. That's Rutgers.
I did not know that.
7 as a team. Rocky Lombardi, not good.
So the fact that they scored 27 points is pretty good, actually, on 7 turnovers.
Yeah.
How many
gosh.
They had 4 a little past 30 minutes into the game.
How many did Penn State have? 5, 4, 5? They had a lot.
I don't know. They
at least 3.
3 missed kicks, including a 27-yarder. And a running back that didn't know how to fall short of the goal line. But either was Todd Gurley. So Michigan State at number 13, Michigan. Michigan's a 26-point favorite.
Covers.
I agree. I think Michigan State's not going to win a game.
I wouldn't go that far.
I thought I had them at 1 win, and that was last
it was
week.
Rutgers.
And they blew it.
I'd rather play Rutgers. Never mind. That's true.
Should have stayed in Boulder, Mel.
Good.
Should have stayed in Boulder.
They lost 5 fumbles. Was it snowing? Was it
No,
raining?
it was a nice day.
Yeah, what the heck? Oh, I don't think Michigan covers. I think they win by a lot, but not 20.
All right.
I think
26?
I think that with Terrence. I think he
24 and a half.
He's out to just destroy everybody he can until
He
they
looked serious.
Until they lose by 4 touchdowns to Ohio State. But
yeah, I think he's got. They're right there with probably a little ahead of Penn State. Talented. I don't know. Penn State's pretty good still, even though they lost. But yeah,
they're not the best line.
Allegedly.
The Ohio State thing is, if you can't be Ohio State, you can't win the conference. That's what's.
That's the crazy thing is Michigan State or Michigan and Penn State. I mean, they're recruiting very well. They've got a great talent, but Ohio State is just. I mean, Ohio State's on the level of Clemson and Alabama in terms of recruiting.
Pull the words out of my mouth. Yeah,
it's stupid what they're doing.
They've always been good, but they're taking it to another level. And
which it started with. I mean, obviously that was Urban really doing that, and then I mean, Ryan Day's just
coaching tree.
Yeah.
Too bad. Too bad they don't get to face Rondale this year, though.
Very true. They still haven't faced David Bell ever, so.
That's true. They might have more nightmares.
I think they're on the schedule next year at Columbus, I think. Well, I don't know. Northwestern at Iowa. Iowa's a 2.5-point favorite. This is a good little matchup here.
I think Northwestern.
Really?
Peyton Ramsey looked good the other night.
Yeah. Iowa didn't. Petrus, I don't know if it's Purdue's defense, but I felt like if Purdue could get a stop, like hold them to like a 2-yard gain, like when they ran up the middle on first down, that Purdue was going to have a good chance of stopping them because I didn't think Petrus was going to be able to put a couple good throws together.
I'm picking Iowa less than a touchdown, mostly just because I want them to win every game now, just to make our win look better.
True. I wouldn't mind them going up and winning like 40-15 or something.
Yeah, this is such a tough matchup because Northwestern was as banged up as we were last year. I mean, they averaged 18 points per game last year on offense, but they looked really good the other night. But of course, it was against a Maryland team that just didn't look good. Mm-hmm. But I think Iowa bounces back at home and wins a close one.
How many did they score last week? 45?
Yep.
Did they score 45 in like the all Big Ten season last year?
I saw a stat that it said like how much. I can't remember what it was. Pretty close. It was pretty close.
I know they had like they went like 7-7-0-6 or something like that, like a 4-game stretch.
Hunter Johnson's a flop, man. He can't even. I mean, he was so talented out of high school, and is what it is. But I'm taking Iowa in a close one. I think 4-point win. Indiana. Number 17. Sorry, I just threw up. At Rutgers. I don't have a line on this one.
Mine doesn't either. ESPN doesn't have a line.
Be careful, Indiana fans. You just had the program win since 87. First top 10 win since 87. First home top 10 win since 67. Their only Rose Bowl appearance. Just be careful because this Rutgers team is 1-0. This is Greg Schiano's Rutgers, not Chris Ash's. I know you want to do it. I know one of you wants to do it.
I can't. I'm not gonna do it. I think Indiana wins. I think they win pretty handily.
You think they win pretty easily?
Yeah, I'd say 2 touchdowns at least.
Yeah. Fun fact: I just looked it up. It took Northwestern 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Big Ten games to score 45 points last year. And that came. They scored 10, 15, 10, 3, 0, 3. So that put them at 41, and then they scored 22 against Purdue.
Yeah.
Of course they did. We still won, though. I'll go Indiana by 10. So not quite as high as you guys, but
is that in? Not that it matters,
in
but
Piscataway.
I think
that New Jersey cold coming off. I don't know how close it is to the ocean, but I assume in New Jersey.
Penix better play better for Indiana. He did not play well the other day.
No, I mean he made the
Penn
plays
State
late.
dominated that game and gave
they gave that game away.
The time possession was like 40 something to like 19. Like it was like 40 minutes for Penn State, 19 for It's just
until that last drive for Penix and then the overtimes. I mean they did nothing.
Steve did what none of us had to guess. He's picking Rutgers. That away, Steve. I'm hoping Rutgers, but
Yeah.
Oh, was it Evan? You said that there's probably like, are there going to be any parties out there at IU that they're going to?
God, I hope so. I hope so.
The reversibles don't know what to do with themselves
they don't.
right now
They
because IU won in football, but Notre Dame's ranked 4th, and they're having like convulsions. They don't know what to do. I didn't know there were so many Indiana football fans till the other day.
Nope.
Haven't seen them in the last 28 years.
Just like Cub fans in 2015 when it started.
Oh gosh.
That's a conversation for another time.
Yeah.
Very, very true. Number 9, Wisconsin. We don't know if they're going to have their quarterback or not right now.
That's a tough one, yeah.
If not, they're down to their 3rd-string quarterback. Don't know who that is. At Lincoln against Nebraska, I don't have a line on this. Scotty Frost and the boys looked pretty competitive for a half, and then Ohio State put it on them in the second half. But I think on everybody. So this is a tough one to pick because we don't really know right now.
I still think I don't even care who the quarterback is. I still think Wisconsin.
Just feed the running back, right?
Did they even do that? Really? I mean, they didn't have to.
Yeah, Mertz was just on fire.
5 touchdowns, 21 passes. Yeah.
I'll go, assuming Mertz doesn't play, I'll go Wisconsin by 2 points.
2.
Close game.
My head is telling me Nebraska.
Oh,
But God, I hate Scott Frost. I'm going with that. So yeah, I'd say Wisconsin close, regardless. If Mertz plays, 2 touchdowns. If he doesn't, like a field goal probably.
And Purdue's game at Wisconsin next week has been announced as a 3:30 Eastern kickoff time ABC. So it's the National Big Ten game of the week. So that's exciting stuff. Hopefully we're 2-0.
hopefully.
Yeah.
They might
Hopefully
be
that's exciting stuff.
In the nightcap, the national game for the Big Ten, game day, making another Big Ten site visit, so 2 in a row. Number 3, Ohio State at number 18, Penn State. Normally this would be a whiteout. The place would be rocking, but there's going to be nobody there. It's going to look weird.
Are there seats? Would that count?
They should do that. Why not?
Yeah. Throw T-shirts.
Whole place with white cardboard cutouts. Ohio State's 11.5-point favorite.
I think they cover.
I think they cover too. I think Penn State plays much better than they did against Indiana, but I think Ohio State's just too damn good.
Penn State, that would be loss number 2, and they can kiss the Big Ten any chance at all goodbye. Probably already have, but
would they fall out of the rankings if they lose?
I think they will.
Depends.
I think you start off 0-2. There'll be other teams that have played a lot more games and have wins.
We were getting votes.
We're getting votes. So, and then that leads us down to the final game. I saved the best for last. Our 1-0 Boilermakers at the 0-1 Fighting Illini. Purdue, I got 6.5-point favorites. That's a noon game on the Big Ten Network.
I think we cover. I think 10-14.
Even if Rondale doesn't play.
Yeah.
I agree.
I think so.
I'm feeling good about it.
I think Rondale's going to play.
What's the forecast in Champaign supposed to be on Saturday?
I think like 50s, like always. Going to be
no rain, because that was the most miserable game in the world last year.
I think I missed that game.
You lucky bastard.
I probably did. I feel like I would have been miserable.
That was the worst.
Let me see here. Do I have?
Oh, 54 and sunny. 4% chance of rain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not real.
Yeah, I know. Like I've got a forecast for another Central Illinois town. It's like 55 degrees on Saturday and sunny. So
we'll see. Are these Indiana uniforms real that you just sent, Andrew?
I hope so. I don't.
I'm going to go try to find out on Twitter real quick and share it so all the viewers can see what I'm talking about. But in the meantime, why don't you guys cover some recruiting?
God, don't. You're going to jinx it.
Well, we'll talk about football recruiting.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yanni Karloftis. Come on down.
Time's a wasting. I mean, so he was down to us, Wisconsin, and Cal. He can't go to any games. He can go to our games because his family. Do we know? Was he at the game?
I don't know for sure, but I assume he was.
His season's over. His team. He was hurt, so his team lost Garen Catholic over the weekend. So his football team's done.
And is he planning to graduate early still and enroll in the spring?
That was the plan all along. I think that probably I don't know if that I don't know. I think there was something where he talked about doing it, but then I think it also depended on
if it was on the season. If Indiana moved their season back to the spring, like Illinois, but that's a moot point now. I think so. I mean, like signing day is in like 6 weeks.
Yep,
and he's have to be enrolling in classes. So if he can't visit anywhere,
he can visit, but has to be on his own dime. But like we said, we talk about off the air is with Indiana with the rising COVID cases, a lot of states are making them. You have to quarantine for 2 weeks, and maybe you could do that over a Christmas break, go out to Cal. I mean, why not escape the Indiana cold and go see Cal? But why not just go to Purdue right now and get it over with? That's my opinion.
That's what George did. I mean, George he committed and took a bunch of visits, and I mean, he enjoyed it, and only do it once.
Yeah. We do have a question here from Ian_Bullock on Twitter or Periscope. Do you think Illinois is just bad, or is Wisconsin just too damn good?
I would say a little both, but I would go with Illinois as that bad.
So I was going to go with, I think Wisconsin was, I don't think Illinois knew Wisconsin had that capability to throw the ball as well as they did.
Yeah, this isn't Wisconsin.
No one does.
This isn't supposed to be their starting quarterback.
No.
Jack Cohn should be their starter, but
true freshman, right?
The redshirt freshman who was an Army All-American along with David Bell 2 years ago. So I remember watching that game, and he was David's quarterback. I'm like,
I didn't know that. Okay.
This kid's going to Wisconsin. He's going to be Wisconsin. Just got himself a really good quarterback. But I think it's a little bit of both as well. But without Mertz, assuming he's confirmed positive, they could be a whole different team in the next 3 games.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I still think their offensive line is going to dominate.
They're going to be good.
Yeah.
But I mean, you are playing with that is a huge drop off from your starter, your backup to your third string usually. But
hey, Purdue won a couple games with a 4th string walk on last year.
We did, but we beat Nebraska and Northwestern, who are not very good, and
Illinois
still got the W.
Not good.
Yeah. So
still counts.
I still feel like we need to hit on this basketball recruiting really quick before we wrap up.
All I have to do is just say Friday at 6:00.
Before we do that, I'll do another sponsor read.
There we go.
As the Boiler Breakdown is brought to you by Webb's Family Pharmacy. Webb's Family Pharmacy is an independently owned community pharmacy with stores located in Rochester, Akron, and North Manchester, Indiana. Webb's is happy to announce they are providing flu shots by appointment right in your car. Simply call to set up an appointment, and their friendly and caring staff will be happy to help you. For all of your high-quality medical equipment, supplies, and pharmacy services, check out www.webrx.com or give them a call. Webb's Family Pharmacy, professional pharmacy with a hometown touch. Boiler owned. Got it. Got that in there. Happy to have them on board for the Boiler Breakdown podcast as well. So now I'll give you a little bit of time to think about it. Trey Kaufman, rated by some people as the best player in Indiana in the class of 2021. By some,
he did win the Gatorade Player of the Year last year as a junior.
Caleb First is the other one who you will see, and he's already committed to Purdue.
Yep, there would have been a third with Christian Lander, but he reclassified to 2020, and he's enrolled in Indiana playing. I would probably guess be the odds-on favorite of being Mr. Basketball just because he was a 5-star. He'd probably be close to a McDonald's All-American had he not reclassified.
Plus he was committed to IU. So.
Right, yeah. So it was given there. But now it's Kaufman first. I think 247 Sports has First as number 1 player. I think Rivals may have flip-flopped.
Both top 50 players.
Yeah, top 50. It's really
both the third. Are,
yeah, the third player is Luke Goody, who's committed to Illinois, but I think he's it's a far drop. It's a far drop from between First and Kaufman to him.
He's still a top 100 player, though.
Oh yeah, he's a good player, and someone I think any other year with more scholarship numbers, Purdue would have definitely offered him. I think we just with the limited numbers and who we were in on at the time, with First obviously and Harrison Ingram. And then obviously Kaufman, who've been in for a long time, but yeah, Kaufman is down to Purdue, Indiana, Virginia, North Carolina, and Indiana State. He's announcing Friday at 6:00. I think he's announcing on a radio station in Jeffersonville.
So I'm going to be tuning into a radio station I've never heard of until at 6 o'clock on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, it's for a long time. It was before we even got first. It was either first or Kaufman. Probably not gonna get both. They're pretty much a similar player. They're both a 4/5, but I think Kaufman really in the last year has really expanded his game, and I think now is a 3/4 in my opinion. I think he's much more of a stretch 4 and like a Vince Edwards type.
Vince Edwards, yeah.
I don't think he's as polished from behind the arc as Vince was or Vincent was at that age. But I mean, he's a hell of a player. I know Brian from Golden Black says that he lives in the Bermuda Triangle for Purdue fans. He lives in that area of Indiana, Kentucky, and Louisville fans. So there's not there's no Golden Black in sight down there. So it's very hard to get kids from there. But he seems to think he's been quoted saying Purdue's probably the best fit out of his finalists. Indiana's recruited him the hardest, but I mean, he's had every opportunity to commit there, especially since we got first. I mean, once we got first, people were all but guaranteeing he was going to go to Indiana, and he hasn't yet. I know he took some visits on his own with his family to Virginia and North Carolina. Had this been a normal year, I think Virginia would be. He just seems like a Virginia player to me. He's a very cerebral kid. I love Tony Bennett as a coach, so I want to play for Tony Bennett.
I don't want to talk about Virginia ever again on this podcast.
I know. I think this would be. All the experts are saying it's pretty much down to Purdue and Indiana right now, and I think if again under a normal circumstance, I think Virginia would be right there. I don't think he's, as we've read, I don't think he's drawn to the glitz and glamour of like a UNC, but I mean, it's North Carolina, so you got to give them. I mean, never count them out. You never know. But everybody seems to be thinking it's between Indiana and Purdue, and if you read, all I can say is go subscribe to Golden Black and read what Brian Newbert has said, because there's some positive vibes coming out, but it's a long way to Friday.
Andrew just posted something.
Oh, there's about rivals. Is that what you're talking about? Mm-hmm. Yep, there's somebody, and I don't know who this guy is. Rob Cassidy on Rivals. No. What does that make you nervous? What makes me
nervous? I don't get my hopes up because, like what Ian Bollock says here, guys who get their announcement dates make me nervous. Which I mean, we have had some.
I don't know. In basketball, who was the last one? Like Rondale and David Bell.
Gel had a commitment date.
That's what I remember.
That worked out.
Yeah, that was awesome.
I mean, he was a
big recruit at the time.
He was a big recruit at the time. I mean, Morton had an official announcement date. Granted, the cat was out of bag as soon as he announced it. Like the crystal ball picks were all in favor of Purdue, so it wasn't really that much of a surprise. I'm trying to think. I don't know if Eric Hunter had an announcement date or not. I remember he released a video. I don't know if that was a set, I'm committing at this time. I don't know. I mean,
Scott Gift's ready in my head.
God, yeah.
All I can do is have a brave face.
What it is it's the exact scenario where he made a happy video and a sad video when it came down to Hollywood engagement. Either one ready for 6 o'clock on Friday, because if we get him, that'll be probably one of Painter's best jobs.
Yeah, to put it in perspective, when he got the big class of Hummel, Moore, Martin, and Johnson, each one was in mid-30s. Johnson was low 40s, and Hummel and Martin were both in the 70s.
Right.
All pretty good players. And you get two guys who are, like you said,
I think Kaufman's
40s?
Kaufman's 32 on Rivals.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I know he jumped ahead of first. I know the summer kind of hurt first. One, there wasn't much of a summer, but also, it's for a player like him, like AAU is not served. Same with Morton last year. Where Morton at the time when we offered him, he was a top 40 player, top 50 player. I think he was in the 40s, and then he ended up being like around 88. But he was playing on a team for summer league where he was playing with a top 20 player. I know that.
And AAU doesn't fit Morton's game, or as Painters called him, is the best passer on the team. And not a whole lot of passing.
First, I know like with first, I think a lot of his, because I know because they hit. Indy Heat, which had Caleb First, played Indiana Elite, which had Kaufman and had a kid who's already committed to Indiana from Ohio. I can't remember the kid's name, and they dominated the Indy Heat. Indiana Elite did, and from what I read, though, it sounded like First wasn't really all that involved in terms of the offense. And he'd dump it down low, but then he might pass it out. And then it was, AAU ball where it's, shots are within 2 or 3 passes of coming down the court, crossing half court. But yeah, I don't know. If we can get him, it'll be a hell of a get. I think Painter's teams are always really, really good when you've got a really good 4. He's definitely proven that he can have guys of similar positions play really well together. You had Biggie and Vince. They were both considered. Biggie didn't want to play the 5, so he had to play the 4, but Vince was more of a stretch 4, and they played really well together. So I think we have, legit examples that are recent that we can show a kid like Kaufman and as to why he could be a really good fit here. And he and First are down in, I think, Houston right now together. I think down in Texas somewhere with McDonald's All-American tryouts. So that can't hurt.
You wouldn't think that could. Yeah, you wouldn't think that would hurt.
Yeah. So
it's fun to be in on another player like this. It's kind of a bummer that's either us or our arch rival, but
right.
Hey, I'm feeling good about it. I'm feeling good about it coming out right now. Feeling good about it. Am I ready to get hurt again? Absolutely. I'm feeling good about it. So, back before we didn't have First between the two, I wanted Kaufman just because I thought he was more of a versatile player. Obviously, both players would be amazing to get. And if we can pull both of them, hey, and someone on the boards posted, Ingram hasn't signed his letter of intent yet either. So stop now.
Why not?
It is crazy to think we're less than a month away at basketball. We don't know the schedule yet.
No.
It's demanding, really. I'm not even concerned about the non-conference. At this point, I think every team's only going to play like 4 or 5 non-conference games.
I think just 20 Big Ten games, I'd be happy.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Just give me the dates and the times. So I know. That's what's driving me nuts. What?
And can we go? That's another thing.
There won't be.
Yes,
there's been some discussions about
if there aren't fans at an outdoor football game, they're not going to put fans in the Mackey Arena. The Big Ten has been very conservative.
Your logic is rock solid, but
I'm still mad the Big Ten aren't allowing a couple thousand fans. It's still aggravating to me, but I get it.
At least like students in the band. Students in the band.
Yeah, in families. That's at least. Add some. It just looks so bare on TV. And Notre Dame's got 10,000. It looks so much better. Even NFL's getting people sprinkled in there. It just looks better than nothing, but is what it is. At least we have Big Ten football. Big Ten football's back. So.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And we got one more sponsor of the Boiler Breakdown, and it's our returning sponsor from last year, and that is Shroff Landscaping Nurseries. Shroff Landscaping has been in business for 50 years. It can handle all of your landscaping needs, including landscape design, maintenance, irrigation, hardscaping, fall cleanup, and they are licensed lawn applicators. Contact them today for all of your landscaping needs, 574-223-2769. Shroff Landscaping, design with you in mind. Any final thoughts, fellas, as we wrap up this episode?
I can't wait for Saturday. That's all.
Yeah, it's we've talked about it before. It's what's fun about football is that if you win, you've got a week to enjoy it. What sucks about football season is if you lose, you have a week to just stew on it. And right now it's fun. So.
Yeah, I will say it was great to listen to Rob Blackman and the guys in the pregame and postgame again. That was just some normalcy like I've missed so much, just hearing those voices and the intel and everything. So
I remember, just for the longest time, like even back in like March and April, was like, I don't really care if we don't have sports just because I just want this thing to go away, and everybody be safe. And then as we were, when it was canceled, I was like, okay, I'll be fine. I'll survive, whatever. It sucks, but whatever. And then I remember waking up on Saturday and kind of get some stuff. I was like, I'm gonna watch Purdue today. Like this is awesome. I did not think this was gonna happen for a long time.
Yep, it feels good to be back and looking forward to seeing the Boilers take on the Illini. And thanks to everybody who's been listening to this episode and watching. Thanks for sticking through with us a little over an hour. If you're listening, especially on Apple Podcasts, please give us a rating and review. That rating really helps us out among the other podcasts out there. A lot of other great Purdue podcasts are out there too, and not dissing any of them, but we like to move up in the rankings. And if you're listening and you ever want to tune into a live broadcast, we try to post what time we're going to be on Facebook and on Twitter ahead of times, even Instagram once in a while. So look out for those, which you can follow our accounts at Boiler Break Pod on any of those social media platforms. Thanks for the compliment, Steve. Says, nice job, guys. Boiler up, Steve. Let's beat the Illini, get the cannon back, go 2-0, and boiler up, hammer down, beat the Illini.
Boiler up.